It's not that long ago that we celebrated anniversary, the 20th anniversary of the Tales of series, and it is one of those long-running Japanese RPG series. And now the time has come for Tales of Berseria. In your mind, how would you say that it's different, or that it's in line with previous Tales of series? How would you put it? How would you describe it?
Okay, so actually, the total Berseria is really different from the previous ones. So especially, I want to emphasize that the new battle system in total Berseria is really brand new and different from the previous titles battle system. So if the users get used to the previous battle systems, can find easily how different the Berseria battle system is from the old ones. So please look forward to playing the game.
I find that Velvet Crow is an unusual sort of main character, because maybe we've seen her in the cast before, that kind of vengeful, sort of very intense emotion character who's a little bit dark. But it's not very usual as the main character. Why did you go for that, and then what do you think of that?
So actually, as you can see, the Velvet has a dark atmosphere compared to the other, heroes from the previous titles. But please understand, she is not a kind of dark hero. But and as you know, in Total series there is a skit system, and the players can see the other aspect of the characters that it's not described in the main story. So actually, she has intense emotion and she hard atmosphere, dark, but players can see she has a little gentle aspect at the same time. So please look forward to see how the Velvet actually is. And on the other hand, so in the previous titles, the party characters incorporate each other to accomplish one big goal. But in Total Berseria, as you can see, the Velvet has a big, personal goal, and she is working hard, really, intuitively, and without asking for the others' help. So she is really different, from the other, the main characters from the past titles.
How does she end up being in a party? It sounds like she's on her own journey, but how come she gets these companions?
Yeah, so actually, as you say, the Velvet, at the beginning of the story, the Velvet decided to accomplish her purpose, her goal by herself without any help. But after the meeting with the character, his name is Lifeset, he is a kind of, if the Velvet can be described as a darkness, the Lifeset is the light. And when the Velvet, see how the Lifeset is growing up, how the emotion and her heart is being changed. So actually the other party character has the different the purpose with the journey, but they decided to cooperate with Velvet to accomplish her purpose. So yeah, actually, the party characters is really strange and mysterious compared to the past party characters. But so it's really interesting. But Velvet is always focusing on her purpose, even after the party character join the party.
What is the significance of her traveling on a ship? Of sort of traveling around the world on a ship.
So when talking about the details set in the storyline, which is become a really big spoiler, so I cannot say too much about the background of the journey by ship. But the new character, he is called Aizen, is he is the member of the pirates, and as a certain reason, because of certain reasons, the Velvet and Aizen decided to use is to each other to accomplish the goal. So the Velvet go on board on the Vanille tier. So this is the beginning of the journey by ship. But please, do not ask me to talk more.
How would you say, because I understand there are some sort of relations with the previous titles, not always very obvious, the relationships between different Tales of titles, but how does this fit into the sort of the greater scope?
So actually there is a really loose and light connection with one of the previous titles, and so the continent in the total Berseria will be called the Greenwood continent in the far future. So if you play the Tales of Berseria, you can see, oh, this is connected to this one and this part of this. Ah, okay, and you can see, you can notice the connection between the two titles.
If we take it back to the title, the Berseria, I understand it's based on Berserk, and of course on Velvet. And her left arm. Can you explain that, how that works and the significance of that? I understand that's also part of the story, but if you could tell us what you can.
So yeah, actually I cannot talk too much about her left hand, but what I can say now is the extraordinary power in her left hand is really required to accomplish her goal. The goal is really difficult, but okay, I cannot say more.
So with this title, it's sort of the series is fully moving on to next gen platforms. What do you feel that sort of affords you as a developer to just focus on that?
The actually, improve the spec of the consoles of the PlayStation 4 and the Steam allows us to make the more accelerating the action battle systems. And we are glad to say that the frame rate is always 60 FPS in the battles and of course in the town and anywhere. So I want to ask the users to look forward to playing the battles which bring more acceleration to the users.
One thing about the Tales of series is the fact that you are in real time in the battles and you're managing your group as well. Can you tell us something about how much sort of detail you can go into sort of setting the behavior of the other characters?
従来のテイルズシリーズ通り各項目に分かれた行動のタイプっていうのは設定できます。
So same as the previous titles, the player can decide kind of the strategy to not control the character, but at the same time there is a system which is called Switch Brush. It's new information that has been revealed in Japan, and the player can switch the control character with how can I say, the backup character by consuming the soul. So this brings more in the width of the strategy and tactics.
ソウルが必要なんですけれども、このソウルを奪うことによって、好きなキャラクターを好きなタイミングで、切り替えながら、爽快なバトルっていうのが繰り広げられるようになってます。
What would you say the scope is of this title? Some JRPGs can go on for hundreds of hours. What are you aiming for in terms of game length?
So actually the play hours changes depending on the player, but I believe that every player can feel really satisfied when clear the game, and there is really enough the volume, the gameplay, and there are lots of sub scenarios in addition to the main scenario, and there are many mini games implemented. Because in Total Dysteria there is no mini game, but in Berseria there is really a lot of mini game that the player can enjoy on the halfway of the main scenarios. So please look forward to it. So there is more volume than Dysteria.
One final personal question, maybe. Who is your favorite character of the cast?
Okay, so actually, I have two my favorite characters in Total Berseria. The first one is Magiru. So Magiru is a kind of icebreaker in the party, and for example, when the party members are talking about the next enemies to fight against, or next the purpose, the atmosphere is a little serious. But Magiru is always making fun of the next enemies or next goal. But finally, she always says the really important and serious comment as her personal idea. So she has really dual aspects. So I really like her. Okay, so the second my favorite character is Aizen. So recently in the Western version, Japanese voiceover is also implemented, and so the reason why I really like Aizen is my favorite voice actor played Aizen.
I understand it's coming out early next year. Where are you at in developing the game, and what do you have left to do?
So actually, every feature in the system has already been implemented in the game, and to bring the game to more and more users, we increase the number of the language in Total Dysteria, and the same number of the languages will be implemented to Total Berseria. So now we are preparing the local text and implementing the local text in the game. The game.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.